What's up, everybody? Fred Richani of TSC. We have right here on the line a very special guest. He is a true baseball legend. He is also an entrepreneur, and he is a man looking to make a major impact like he did on the baseball field, now in the world of fashion. We're talking to former Boston Red Sox, New York Met, Mo Vaughn. Mo, how's it going?
Good. How you doing? How's everything? Thanks for having me.
Now, before we get to everything you've been doing in life after baseball, I know a lot of fans saw fond memories of you with the Red Sox, hitting those homers with the Mets. You got a new collection coming out, one that I think a lot of people, especially people your size and Frank Thomas's size, might be interested. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's Mo Vaughn MVP Collections by Mo Vaughn Productions. It's a big and tall brand. It's on its third year. I started this because I was the MVP customer, looking for clothing, looking for style, looking for fashion. We are exactly that. Big and tall usually, gets, the worst fabrics, the worst cuts, the worst patterns. And this brand is all fashion for the big and tall guy. We are made in America, which is critical for our growth and what we're doing. We source our, like I said, we're made in America, so we source our product, out of LA. With that, we're able to change our styles and capsules as trends come. So we are on trend, big and tall fashion brand who services the big guy. And what we've seen, when we started this brand, is that through organically and social media, that this customer is very much wanting fashion, and we're bringing it to that customer as we speak.
And what kind of market research did you do? I mean, obviously, you're somebody, Frank's somebody that are a little bit bigger than the usual guy. You're both great athletes and everything, and you have the dimensions of being big, strong, powerful athletes. I mean, was it just one of those things where you noticed like some of your colleagues, in the locker room were like, man, like we could really use some fashion here, or did you have to do kind of a deep dive and explore and really find out like, hey, okay, there's a niche here. I should start out this MVP brand.
For me, being a customer, you're walking around, and there's nothing bigger than a 2X, let alone a 2X tall. So you're able to access. So I kind of like had half of a wardrobe. I had like jeans and no shirts, or really I had to get my suits made or things made. So I knew there was something there to be done. And then I have a partner, Diane Catulli, who's been in the business 25 plus years. She really took a deep dive and figured out, did some reconnaissance that this is a completely white space. I have great ideas and great things to happen. Without a partner that can execute these things, this thing doesn't really, come to fruition. So that's a big part of it is my partner and what she does and her knowledge. But for me, this started basically because I knew there was nothing out there serving this type of guy.
Talking fashion, I mean, you're working with Frank Thomas, and both you guys, iconic players, especially in the 90s. And you look on eBay these days, or any store, like any stores in the mall and whatnot. I mean, vintage is back, right? As far as like the 90s and the old school jerseys. I mean, I told my friend I was interviewing Mo Vaughn. He got super hyped. Sent me a bunch of these screenshots. He's like, you got to talk to him about some of these shirts in the past that say Mo Vaughn on them. They're still selling. I mean, even the original Red Sox hat, that of course you rocked. I mean, when you were playing back in the day, did you realize kind of the cultural impact that you were kind of having on fashion with Major League Baseball?
I probably didn't, Brad. I probably didn't. I would lie to say if I did. Listen, I think, this brand is exploding and it's exploding, and I appreciate that, and I need to really look into that. But bringing on a guy like Frank Thomas, we've been friends since we've been in college. This is not news. We've been great supporters of each other throughout our careers. It's been a rivalry friendship. It's never been, ego-driven or, competitive-driven, in that way. We've always pushed each other to do well. And he's, the type of guy, his pedigree, which, the Hall of Fame status, eugenics, Fox Sports, World Series coverage. He's the type of partner that can really help us enhance this brand. So it's basically, we're glad he's here. It's our coming out, today, this week with, press about him coming aboard So between all those things, it's a lot of great things happening. And yes, we want, if whatever's vintage happened in the 1990s that work, we want to bring that stuff back. So we're glad he's here.
Now, you're a multi-time All-Star, former MVP, had a very successful career. But I would imagine right after you retired, there was definitely a void to be filled, not being able to play baseball anymore. Initially,
100%.
Before you got into fashion, how did you find a way to fill that void?
It was tough. It wasn't easy. I would say to anybody that tries to evaluate an athlete after life, give that athlete he or she some space, because it takes a little while to evolve. Luckily, when I retired, I jumped right into the affordable housing game out of New York City. It got me going. Did it ever take away, did it ever relieve all of the things that I wanted to? No, it never did. But it got me on track to going in the right direction and gave me the ability to do some other things. So it's not easy. You have to have, a mind for it, realize that nothing will ever match it, but you got to try to get your body and your brain and your heart moving forward in the afterlife.
Yeah, you had a great career, but you did have some tough times on the teams with the Red Sox, with the Mets. Looking back, though, when you see how fondly you're remembered, and I see you these days on the radio every now and then, or making media appearances, and everybody, when you hear the name Mo Vaughn, their face just lights up. How does it feel after all these years to still have the respect of the fans?
It's nice, I had some great Red Sox days. I was telling somebody yesterday, does anybody think in the tri-state area that I wanted to come back to New York and not perform? I'm 60 miles from my hometown in Norwalk. I went to college across the river in New Jersey at Seton Hall. I went to high school upstate, Trinity Pauling, upstate New York, Pauling, New York. Did anybody ever think that that's how I wanted to end? But listen, some things happen, and you got to move on for it. So it's great now. It's been, I'm out 03. It's 19. It's 13, 16 years later, and people are seeing me for what I am, and it's definitely nice.
How does it feel to be kind of a pillar of those Red Sox years, where obviously they didn't have the World Series success that they have now? But you're somebody that kind of was one of the building blocks. I've interviewed other guys like, say, Walter Jones from the Seahawks, who played before they won the Super Bowl and were Legion of Boom and everything like that. But he took a lot of pride in being one of the building blocks and setting the foundation. When you look at what the Red Sox are today, are you proud of the work you put in? And do you feel like you and your teammates kind of set that foundation for today?
Listen, I hope we helped do anything toward them winning. And I said this before, when they won the first World Series in 2004, I felt all of the weight, all of the stress, all the losses, all of the big games that we never won, all that came off. And I'm sure that any Red Sox player with any significant time of service that played for Boston, it never got us to where we wanted to be. We were all ecstatic. And now, we're enjoying, 04, 08, all the 4 championships in the last 14, or so years. We are all enjoying that. So however we helped or didn't, or what we did, we are enjoying it now, and we're happy for all the success the Sox are having.
Besides New York and Boston, what was your favorite city to play in?
My father's from Baltimore. I loved hitting the Camden Yards. It was always great to go there. It seemed like when that ballpark was built, it's like you were playing in a video game. It was just bright. It was the best place to play.
Still a beautiful park too. I mean, I know people that don't even watch baseball, they'll drive down there just to watch a game.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I wish they would play a lot better, because that type of venue. But it was always a great place for me to play.
Now, if you were able to go back in time or go back to the future, or however it may be, okay, go back to your prime and play in today's game, do you think you'd fare better or worse than you did back in your era?
I'd be just as good. And I would make a lot of money, because we'd be hitting for average and power. We wouldn't be having no launch angles, and we wouldn't be swinging up. We'd be driving and runs and doing what we had to do. So, I'd love to be playing today's game.
If you were put in charge to kind of increase the appeal of the MLB, what would you do?
Listen, you gotta love baseball. It's not gonna become a 2-hour and 20-minute game. I don't care what happens. It's just not. You got to love the game. You got to love how it's played. You got to love, the changes in the matchups. It's just that's what it is. But I would just say this. Get more baseball play people in the front office, on the field, manage their teams, coaches that know the game. Stop reading all these analytics and get the right people on the field and involved with the game when you're going to bring the fans back to the game.
We got a few fan questions here, some quick hits. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who was the best baseball player you played with and against?
Best baseball player I played with. I played with Roger Clemens. Played with some pretty good guys, but probably Roger was overall the best, baseball player I ever played with. I played against Frank Thomas, and I played against Barry Bonds, and I played against Ken Griffey. You can put them all in one. But I was lucky enough to play against those guys, when I was playing.
Funniest player you shared the locker room with?
Roger Clemens. He's just comic relief. And it's funny because, he has this persona when he goes out on game day, and he is all that. But the 4 days in between, he's the funniest man alive. It's unbelievable. It really is, to be honest with you.
Harder place to play, Boston or New York?
Boston. One team, one set of reporters all the way around. It's tougher than anywhere. In any sport. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever. It's the toughest place.
What's the best business advice you could give anybody?
The best business advice I would give an athlete is sign your own checks, pay your own bills. That's the best advice I would give an athlete today. Sign your own checks. You're not IBM. You can sign your own checks. You got enough time, believe me.
Favorite sport besides baseball?
Football.
If you could have been any other type of athlete or had any other career path besides baseball and been just as successful, what would you have gone into?
I would have been a quarterback.
New York Giants, Jets?
Cowboys.
Oh, okay. It's all right. You're
sorry.
It's all good. It's all.
It is.
All right. You know what? Okay, then Cowboys. What do you see the future for the Cowboys being in 2019?
I don't know. I think Cowboys, you got to play defense, man. We've had some great years. You got to win at home. I mean, look at the past, 5 years. Cowboys have been the best team in the NFC and have gone home in the first round. And you can't be a Super Bowl team when you do that. And we need to fix that.
Can't leave you without having you talk about everything you're doing with Omni New York, a great cause. Can you tell everybody about that?
Man, it's funny, yesterday was our 15-year anniversary. We had a nice event at our office, and I told everybody this. I thank Omni for one solid reason. I was able to play the game of baseball, put my name up in lights, and be loved in star fashion. I was the star. Between my partners and my staff, we've done the same thing. And not many people get the ability to live two lives at a high star level. And Omni is that on the real estate entity, and I've been able to live that as an athlete. And I just thank everybody for that, because that's exactly what it is. We walk around, as superstars in our industry, and it's all because we have great integrity. And everything I've learned, business-wise, business acumen-wise, I've learned from my two partners being in the affordable housing space in New York City and doing what we've done.
And obviously continuing to make a positive impact. Mo, we really do appreciate the time. Where can fans find more information about you, MVP, and Omni online?
Listen, we have Mo Vaughn, MVPcollections.com. We are in Macy's. We are King Size Direct. We are online DXL. Go on those sites, check out the clothes, buy the clothes. I'm telling you, the clothes feel good. They fit well. It's a great product. Forget about it, the name being Mo Vaughn. Realize that our product is what it is. It's not just a name. We back it up by what we do.